Great Futures Preschool. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our theme activity circle. My theme for today's video is sand. Playing with sand, making some sandpaper. I'm going to read a book about going to play in the sand at the beach and tell you a little about what sand is. So I thought first we could start by reading a book called Summer. It's by Alice Lowe. What are they doing in this picture? In the front cover. Can you tell? They're feeding the seagulls. Summer. And summer is going to start, let's see, in about 1 week. Next weekend, summer is going to start. It already feels a little bit like summer right now, huh? Oh, look, watermelon, our favorite. Some of our favorites, huh? We like the things that summer brings. We love the things that summer brings. It brings the sun, it brings the heat, it brings the things we like to eat. We like cold things. We eat them up, and then we eat. So does our pup. Is he eating ice cream? They put the ice cream in the tire to hold it for the dog. Summer brings so many things. Summer brings rides on swings. We swing up high into the trees. We swing up so fast that we make a breeze. Summer brings us things like wings. We like to catch them with a net and see how many things we can get. Summer sun brings garden fun. We have to water well, we know, to make our garden grow and grow. You water me, I water you, and that will make us grow fast too. In summertime, we say hello to all the fish way down below. They look at us, they seem to say, what kind of fish have come our way? They're snorkeling. Oh, what are they doing now? Building a sandcastle. We like this way to spend the day. We make a sand house on the shore. Oh, they call it a sand house. I like that. We make some windows and a door. The waves come up. They come up fast. Sometimes our sand house does not last. Some summer nights, we cook and eat. Our pup is not so very neat. He's got marshmallows all over him. We like the things that summer brings. It brings us fireworks late at night, all red and yellow, blue and white. We stay awake and think of things, the happy things that summer brings. The end. So did you guys see our friends here on this page? They're building a sand house, a sand castle. You guys know what sand is made out of? What is sand? Have you guys, I know you played in the sand. We played in the sand together. And when you touch it and you feel it, what does it feel like? What do you guys think sand's made out of? It's a mixture of really small pieces of little rocks and different kinds of minerals. And they're broken down into little tiny pieces. So when like rocks rub together, they make kind of shavings come off and it turns into sand. So it's little pieces of rocks and minerals all put together. And they get smaller and smaller until they reach the beach or low-lying area. So if you go down to the beach, you can notice that there's rocks all around, right? And those big boulders that are on the side, some of the sand has come from those rocks because the rocks have eroded. The rocks have broken apart and grinded down and made sand. It takes a really, really long time to make sand. So when you go down to the beach next time, I want you to grab some sand and look through it and see if you see any of the little tiny pieces of rocks in there or stones in there. Check it out and see what else you can find. Sometimes there's little gold flakes in there. And when you go to the beach, ask your mom and dad if you can bring home a little handful of sand for our next project. But first, how do you think these kids got to the beach? What do they need to do before they got there? Before they got out into the sun? What are the steps of getting ready to the beach? What do we do at school? Do you guys remember? You put your sunscreen on first at home, and then you put your bathing suit on. Then what do you do after you put your bathing suit on? Get a hat and some clothes and some shoes. You need shoes, right? Okay. Then what do you guys do to get ready? Do you help your mom and dad put together some snacks and water, maybe? Maybe you get a bag of things to bring down to the beach, right? So we have to make sure we have sunscreen on first. Then we put on our swimsuit. Then we put on some clothes, shoes, and a hat. Then we grab our bag and pack it. And then maybe, do we fly to the beach? No, we either walk or drive to the beach, right? Buckle yourselves up in the car and you get out. And you have to unload the car and then set up, maybe put a towel out, maybe check your sunscreen again, put your life vest or your floaties on, look for your parent and wait for them to tell you, okay, now you can play in the water. There's tons of steps to do before you can play in the water, right? You can't just run straight into the water. You gotta get ready, get safe, prepare yourself, bring some snacks and whatnot. So I'm sure these kids have sunscreen on, and they have their swim trunks on, so they must have unloaded their stuff back here before they started building a sandcastle. So, next time you go to the beach, or maybe you have a sandbox in the back of your house, or maybe you have some sand in your yard, ask your parents if you can use some of the sand to make sandpaper. Do you guys know what sandpaper is? Let me show you really close. We've done some projects with sandpaper before. Let's see, there we go. It's a piece of paper with lots of sand on it. And you can buy it from the hardware store. It's used to make surfaces smooth. So let's say I have an old table and I want to paint it. I need to sandpaper the table down and get all of the old little chips of wood off of it and make it smooth so that I can paint it and make it look nicer. Sometimes if there's like splinters sticking out of maybe the back of your table, your mom or dad might sandpaper it down just a little bit so that the splinters don't get you. What I use sandpaper for at my house is to redo things. I love to find old furniture and make it look nice. And in order to make it look nice, you got to get all the old yucky paint and yuckies off of it using sandpaper. But what's also cool with sandpaper is to do with sandpaper is using it in projects. Sometimes sandpaper is really expensive. And maybe your parents are like, I do have sandpaper, but we need this for the house. We need to use this for ourselves. So what could we do? We can make sandpaper. And guess what? We live by the beach. So it's a pretty good place to get some sand. Maybe even when you go down to the beach, maybe you can bring some paper and some glue with you. I'll show you how you can do it. So, I have a piece of paper. I have my sand. This is play sand. If you do get sand, make sure your parents maybe sift through it. Make sure there's no like sharp beach glass in there or any yuckies in there. So, what I'm going to do is I have a tray just so that it doesn't get all over the place. I am going to grab a piece of paper, or maybe lots of pieces of paper. So I gotta get my glue cap. Maybe you want to do tons of pieces of paper, because after this what you're going to do is let it dry and then cut it so that you can make an indoor sandcastle. Okay? So maybe you want more than one. And you're going to put glue. Here, let me show you guys. You're going to put glue all over the paper. You want to try not too much, remember, but you want to get every piece of the paper because the sand won't stick to the paper unless it has glue on it. So any of the pieces of the paper that don't have glue on it, you're not going to get much sand on there. So I put glue all over my piece of paper. And I'm going to grab my sand. Maybe you want a spoon or you can sprinkle it. And I'm going to sprinkle it all over. It's hard to see because it is white sand, but you guys, if you get sand from the beach, tell me what color it is. Is it white sand? What color sand did you find? See at this sandpaper from the store, they didn't use white sand. They used, looks like brown, little speckles of brown, and black sand in there. Okay, so you want to sprinkle it all over, just kind of like glitter. If you dump it out, it might all just stay in one spot. And that's okay, because what you can do is grab your tray and give it a shake, shake, shake. You can grab your tray and shake the sand all around. Woo-hoo. Remember, you don't want it too thick, but it actually doesn't matter because you're using it for art. You're not using it to sand anything down. Okay, and then I'm going to let some of it come off like that. And I'm just going to keep doing that until the paper is full. Whoa, excuse me, I got some sand in my throat. Until the paper is full of sand. Remember how I said the sand will not stick to the paper if it doesn't have glue. So here it's kind of cool. You can tell where exactly I put the glue and where I missed some spots. So I might go back over and put some more glue on there. And remember, if you have darker sand, it'll show up a little better. So what you're going to want to do, though, you're going to want this to dry for a little while. And also what I just realized, too, is if you have construction paper or cardstock, thick paper, use that to put the glue and the sand on. It'll hold it better since the sand's a little heavy. If not, don't worry about it. Maybe put two pieces of paper together. Okay, so here's my sandpaper. I like how it's kind of stripy and you can see where the sand is. And after it dries, what I would do is cut it up into different shapes, however I would like it. And I'd like you guys to try to make a sandcastle out of it. You don't have to build a sandcastle because the sand's already on the paper, but can you cut your sandpaper into different shapes and make a castle? Look, I cut my sandpaper into different shapes. See how you can see this a little bit better because I used white sand here and I used beach sand here. So yeah, I just made a castle. I just cut them all into pieces of paper. Pieces of paper. I cut them into shapes and I made a castle. I'll probably put some blue paper here for some water. However you guys want. Can you make a bridge with your castle? Can you make some pillars? Can you make a fence or flags? I'd love to see what you guys can do with your sandpaper castles, or like they said in the book, the sandpaper house. If you do make one, send me a picture, okay? I would love to see. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about sand. The next time you go down to the beach, check out the sand, look through it. Notice that those are little tiny pieces of rock. Alright, maybe ask your parents if you can take a little bit home to make some sandpaper. Alright guys, have a great day. I'll see you later. Mwah.